welcome to Unity of Wilmington, whether you're here in person, so great to see you, or online or later in the week on YouTube. Please join with me in Unity's statement of being. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotence. And I'd like to take this moment to remind you of our 3 affirmations. Feel free to say them in your head or out loud if you want to. You are a beloved expression of God. We are all here for a holy purpose. And my favorite, we're always in the right place at the right time, right now.
Driving it again, searching for the water, hoping for the rain. Up and up, up and up. Down upon the canvas, working meal to meal, waiting for a chance to pick your orange field. Up and up, up and up. Diamond in the rough, see a bird soaring high above the flood. It's in your blood, it's in your blood. Oh, underneath the storm an umbrella is saying, sitting with the poison takes away the pain. Up and up, up and up. We're saying we gonna get it together right now. Gonna get it together somehow. Gonna get it together somehow. Oh, we gonna get it together, I know. Gonna get it together and flow. Gonna get it together and go up and up and up. Up and up and up. Lying in the gutter, aiming for the moon, trying to empty out the ocean with a spoon. Up and up, up and up. How come people suffer? How come people part? How come people struggle? How come people break your heart? Break your heart. Yes, I wanna grow. Yes, I wanna be. Yes, I wanna know. Show me how to heal it up. Heal it up. Oh, see the forest there in every seed. Angels in the marble waiting to be free. Just need love. Just need love. When the going is rough, we're saying we're gonna get it together right now. Gonna get it together somehow. Gonna get it together and flower. Oh, we gonna get it together, I know. Gonna get it together and flow. Gonna get it together and go. But you can't say what is or fight for it. Close your mind and take a risk. You can't say it's mine and clench your fist or see each sunrise as a gift. We gonna get it together right now. Gonna get it together somehow. Gonna get it together and flower. Oh, we gonna get it together, I know. Gonna get it together and flow. Gonna get it together and go. Fixing up a car to driving it again when you're in pain.
morning, everybody. Let's give it up for Paul. That was absolutely amazing. Never give up and up. And I am up on stage for the very first time here in Unity Church. For those of you that are wondering, where is Reverend Nikki? Where is Reverend Mindy? Well, obviously they're not here. They are, I believe, in Boston at a wedding. So I was asked to come up and be your guest speaker today. My name is Reverend Dr. Ellen. I just moved to Wilmington. And I am a New Thought minister, and I'm happy to be with all of you today. So, what we're going to be talking about is Spark the Dark energy. Spark the Dark energy. So, it is the beginning of the new year, and you know, the holiday seasons are behind us, and it's a time for all of us to, you know, I think set some new goals. So, how many of you set New Year's resolutions for yourselves? Anyone? Beautiful, right? I do too. Every year I sit down with a notebook and I write down my goals for the year. I have my physical goals, my spiritual goals, my family goals, my financial goals. And then by the second, I've already broken some. How many of you have broken some of those goals already? I can't be the only one. Okay, good. I see another hand. Somebody else has broken some of their goals, right? So, you know, I want this year to be different. How many of you want things to be different? I know a lot of you watching online as well are thinking, you know what, 2022 has got to be better than 2021. And we said that about 2021, it has to be better than 2020, right? We've been through a lot of very difficult, challenging times over the last few years, and we want this year to be different. Well, I started off this year differently. I'm in a new home, right? I have a new community. I'm happy to be here. You know, I don't want to wait to celebrate, right? The season might be behind us, but I don't want to wait for the next season to start to celebrate or wait for the next holiday to have something to celebrate. I mean, we can either take two paths. We can wait to celebrate, or we can choose to celebrate every single day. And that's what I want to talk about today is, you know, our first lesson, and it's one lesson that I want to talk about. But life is meant to be celebrated, right? Life is meant to be celebrated. We come here as a spiritual community to celebrate with each other, to be community. But think about it. What are things that we can celebrate? Birthdays, right? I was watching the news this morning, and I found out that it's Kate Middleton's birthday, right? So I know she's celebrating being 40, and I can say that because the world knows that she's turning 40. But what else can we celebrate? Right? We can celebrate anniversaries, we can celebrate graduations, we can celebrate births, we can celebrate success, we can also celebrate failure, because truthfully, there is no such thing as failure. Everything is an opportunity to learn and to grow. So there's so many different things that we can celebrate. Why not celebrate, you know, just being alive, right? Celebrate waking up every morning. You know, my husband, who was hoping to be here this morning, he has been living with colon cancer. That's not why he's not here today. He's actually healthy. But every morning he wakes up and he says, you know, it's another day to celebrate, opening my eyes to being able to live another day. And, you know, he is probably my biggest inspiration because I'm a big complainer. That was one of the first resolutions that I broke. Is, you know, the next day I woke up and I was complaining, I think because it was raining. Right? And it was cloudy and it was gray and the sun wasn't out, so I was complaining. And yet I realized the flowers are not complaining that it's gray and it's cloudy. They need the rain. The trees need the rain. So there's always an opportunity for us to celebrate. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said, write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. Right? Every day is the best day of the year. So, you know, if today is the best day of the year, how would you celebrate? Right? How would you celebrate today? Right? Well, I can tell you one of the things that I'm going to do is celebrate that this was my first talk here at the Unity Church. I'm going to go out for breakfast. Well, I'm going to go home and get my husband and maybe my son and go out for breakfast. And then this afternoon, I'm going to go to the Cameron Art Museum because they're doing an illumination ceremony at between 4 and 7. It sounds like a lot of fun, so I'm going to go do that to celebrate. So there's always something. No matter where you live, there's always something. But let's just say you're like, I don't know what I want to celebrate. Well, let me give you some ideas. So, some of you may not know, but these are holidays that are celebrated on January 9th. So I'm actually going to talk about the first two, Playing God and Static Electricity Day. But it's also the celebration of National Balloon Ascension Day. Yeah, I know, I was like, what is that? So 1793 was the very first time that somebody ascended in a helium air balloon. And it was actually over a prison in Philadelphia. And George Washington got a chance to actually view that. So we celebrate that on January 9th. And also National Sunday Supper Day, which actually is not necessarily the 9th, but it's the second Sunday of every January, so that is today. And that's a great way to celebrate with family and friends, to come together and have a meal together, you know, whether it's community or it's supper. But I want to focus on the first two. So let's talk about how we can celebrate playing God. So let's talk that first. That's kind of our lesson. How do we play God? Right? So think about it. If you were God, what God would you be? Which God would you be? Would you be the God of Christianity? Would you be the God of Judaism? Would you be a Hindu God? I would be the God of sun, the sun God. Somebody might be the rain God. But when you think about it, right, if we really were to play God every day, would we live our lives differently? If we knew that we had the power and the presence to do anything that we wanted to do, to achieve anything, to be anything that we wanted to be, we wouldn't need to ask God for anything. We would recognize that we are that. We have that divine spark within us. How many of you feel that? Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to help you feel more of that, I hope, right? So we are that divine creative expression that is God. So the truth is, we can play God every day because we really are that. No different from the animals, the plants. And I have to say, even that cockroach that keeps showing up, right, in my door every day. Well, maybe not every day. My cats probably catch some of those. But it's that creative energy that is in all of us. But let's think about it, right? If we really do want to play God, let's see. Eric Butterworth said that God can only do for you as he can do through you, or what he can do through you, right? So I don't need to ask God to do anything for me. He can do it through me. She can do it through me. They can do it through me, because it is me. It is me. I am that divine expression. You are that divine expression of God. But why don't we play God every day? Right? Think about it. Why don't we play God every day? We play small. Paul was singing in his song, right? We're going to do better, so we're going to get through. Or why would we go to the ocean with a spoon? Go to the ocean with a bucket. Go to the ocean with the biggest container that you can find, because that is what we are, right? If you want to be abundant, you have to think abundant. You have to have abundant thoughts. If you want to be healthy, you have to think healthy thoughts, right? And you have to have healthy activities. One of my resolutions every year is to be the healthiest, the highest and the best that I can be. And so, exercising, eating healthy, having healthy thoughts. And so if we want to play God, right, and if you were God, what would you want to do? What would you want to solve? How many of you would solve world hunger? Let me see a show of hands. Yeah. It's like, that's a given. How about end disease? Right? How about hate? Yes. Right? We live, unfortunately, in a very divisive country right now, a very divisive world. And if we played God daily, if we all recognize that we are one, it doesn't matter what religion you believe, the essence of man is a divine spiritual expression of the one. We are all one. And so if we recognize that, if we live that, if we start treating each other that way, we are living as God. And simple things we can do, simple things like saying good morning, smiling at each other. Right? I have my green little sticker over there, so you can come hug me, right? Right? To show each other love and appreciation, to recognize the oneness in each and every one of us. So playing God is, right, a great lesson to recognize that we are always God, but we're not playing at our highest and our best. Right? Think about it. Right? When you get up in the morning and you start complaining because the sun isn't shining, am I really being God? Well, the real answer is yes, because I can never not be what I am. I can never not be what I am. So how do I raise that vibration, right? How do I raise the vibration so that I can be more in my God qualities? So when you think about God, what do you think about? You don't think about hate. You think about love. You think about kindness. You think about appreciation. You think about gratitude. And so I want to play at God every day. I want to celebrate every day. And I don't want to wait until a holiday to celebrate. I can celebrate playing God today officially, because today is Play God Day. But I can play at that every single day, and I can celebrate every single day. Which brings me to the other holiday and also a lesson, which is all about static electricity. So how many of you knew that today was Static Electricity Day? Yeah, I didn't know that either. I had to look it up. But one of my resolutions was I did truly want to celebrate every single day of the year. And I got myself a calendar, a daily calendar that every day it lists all the different holidays. So that's how I found out today was actually Static Electricity Day. But how many of you remember as a kid, right, when you would try to like get all the sparks going, you'd rub your feet on the carpet and you'd go run around and you'd like tap your sibling or your parents and like, oh, got a spark, right? When everybody do that. And if you're watching online, either now, later, or some other time, just right, that sizzle, that spark, that static electricity. And I love that, right? Because, you know, you can get a balloon and rub it against your hair and it goes zoop, right? Or on those dry days, I just moved, like I said, I moved from California and it was much drier there. So there was a lot more static electricity, it seemed like, in the air all the time. Yeah. So if we want to celebrate all of these holidays simultaneously, Charles Fillmore actually said, I'm going to stand to the side here, so I fairly sizzle, I love that sizzle, with zeal, energy, and enthusiasm, eager to do that which ought to be done by me today. Now that is a God quote if I've ever heard one, right? That which is mine to do today, right? I want to sizzle with enthusiasm and zeal. That's how I want to live my life, right? That's how I want to live my life. Fully alive and being the full expression of who I truly am. Up, up, and up. Right? I want everybody to say that. Up, up, and up. And put your hands up. Yeah. And now sizzle. Right? It feels good. It feels a little silly, too. But that's another one of my resolutions, is to stop being so serious all the time. Right? Who said God has to be serious, or religion has to be serious, or spirituality has to be so solemn and serious? No, it can be fun, it can be alive, it can be enthusiastic. That's who I want to be. Right? I want to shine my light. I want to spark creativity. And again, if I am God, and I want to spark some creativity, and I want to solve the world's problems, I need to start really with myself. Right? So when I wake up in the morning, I think about, okay, well, what do I need to do today? But who do I want to be today? How do I want to be today? Now, I know last Sunday was the White Stone ceremony, which I watched online. And I was thinking about that during the meditation, like, who do I want my new identity to be? How would I even define that? Right? There's so many God qualities. Right? Do I want to be kindness? Do I want to be generosity? Do I want to be creativity? Right? I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to live on purpose with passion. And I want to play every day. I don't want to be so serious all the time. Like, life is meant to be celebrated, right? Lesson number 1. So if I truly, truly, truly want to live this way, I need to spark positivity everywhere I go. So static electricity, right? Static electricity day. If you don't know the science behind what static electricity is, it's called static because positive energy stays in that one place until it comes in contact with negative energy. And then, right, it sparks. Actually, it shocks you. How many of you have ever been shocked? Yeah, I know. And we laugh when we're kids, but it actually can hurt if you've ever hit a doorknob and it's like, you get shocked by that. So if I want to spark positivity and I'm negative, right, if I'm feeling down, right, if I'm feeling a little bit blue, I'm having negative thoughts, or I'm complaining, which is one of the lowest vibrational energies. It's like, well, how do I lift myself up? How do I get up and up? How do I get myself up and up? Well, I need to shift that energy. I need to raise my vibration. And I know we talk about it, we say those words, but how do I put that into practice? Well, one simple way to put it into practice is to smile. Right? And I know a lot of us are behind masks, right? But you can see people smiling in their eyes. So I want everyone just to turn to their neighbor. And if you're home watching alone, just put a huge smile on your face. And breathe. I always feel better when I smile. And the truth is, even if you're not feeling it in the moment, it becomes organic. Right? It becomes organic. And if you smile at someone, they will smile back. And they may even start laughing. And it erupts into this organic laughter, yoga laughter, or really just laughing for no reason. Right? So that's one way we can spark some positivity, is just put a smile on our face. Now, there were some studies done, and I don't know where or who, but they found out that we have about 60,000 thoughts at any given moment, or maybe in a day. That's a lot in a moment. So 60,000 thoughts in a day, most of which are neutral or negative. Can you imagine 60,000 negative thoughts in your head? Well, maybe you can't. Maybe you can if you've had those dark days. So it's like, all right, if most of what I think about is neutral or negative, how am I going to spark some positivity? Well, I can start by just smiling, but I can also start by doing more positive things, right? Being kinder to people, being kinder to myself, having more appreciation instead of complaining, right? See if I can find the gratitude, the silver linings in things, right? We've been through a really challenging year, so how are we going to pull ourselves up and be more positive? And if you think about it, right, if you shine your light as God, right, we are celebrating two things today, playing God, right, and static electricity. Let's shine our positivity and spark those around us who need some positivity, right? Even if it's ourselves, right? Just so pretend you're sparking your neighbor. I want you to put your finger out and go, right? And what did that do? It made us laugh. It made us smile. I was watching, when I was preparing this talk last night, I was watching, and I was sharing this with Katie, I was watching on CNN the Carole King and James Taylor concert. I don't know when it was filmed, But at one point, she got up from the piano and she started dancing around the stage. And she was just dancing and having a grand old time. I don't remember what song she was singing. But the entire stadium was up on their feet and just laughing and smiling and singing every word to the song, which if you grew up in my generation, you know every word to Carole King and James Taylor songs. And I had to stop what I was working on, and I looked over at the TV and I was like, that's the perfect, analogy, explanation, example of what I'm talking about. They sparked positivity. And not only that, when she was interviewed, she said, people don't come to see me or to see James Taylor. They come to feel, to be inspired by the songs, by what we bring forward. It's like, oh my goodness, that is sparking positivity. That's the perfect example. So music is another way. If we want to pull ourselves out of feeling down, depressed, or not at our highest or best, put on some music, right? And again, it doesn't have to be meditative music, although that's really beautiful too. It could be anything that gets you up and dancing, anything that makes you feel positive. And truthfully, sometimes those sad songs do make me feel positive because they connect me with my humanity. They get me to understand what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing is there to support me. No matter what I am going through, it is there to teach me something, right? I came through into this body as Ellen to experience something. And so whatever it is, I'm always at the right place at the right time doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So if I'm feeling sad, okay, there's a reason. I don't need to be stuck there if I don't want to be, but let me get what I need to get from it. And then I want to spark that positivity because I want to raise my vibration. Now, we can also raise that vibration, spark positivity when we are of service, right? So when we give our donations. When we're at CVS and it says, do you want to round up for Feeding America? Yes. Right? When somebody comes to my window and says, hey, can you help me out? I try to keep dollar bills in my car at all times so that I can help somebody. Right? I just joined, I was thinking all the things that have happened this past week. I just joined the Planet Fitness to honor my New Year's resolution of trying to be in the best shape. Every year it's always the best shape. So they have this big basket in the front when you walk in for food banks. So, I made sure the next day I went in there that I brought some food with me. I brought a jar of some peanut butter and some other things that they said they needed. So these are other ways. Not only can we spark positivity, but we get to play God when we do that. Right? Because God is generous. God is kind. God is abundant, which is what I am, which is what you are, right? All the beautiful opportunities that we have every single day to dance, to listen to music, right? There's no accidents, right? God is speaking through us at all times, to us at all times, as us. Right? If we truly embrace that God is speaking as us, then how could we be anything less? How could we be anything less? There's nothing that we can't achieve. And again, if you were to solve the world's problems because you're God, what are some of the things that you would do right now? Go ahead, shout them out. What are some things that you would do right now?
Smile at a new friend.
Smile at a new friend. Beautiful. Who else? What would we do?
Bring international
International
peace.
peace. Absolutely. Every year on my husband's birthday and on Christmas, and we always ask, what do you want this year? World peace. World peace, that's what he says every single time. Because yes, can you imagine what our lives would be, what this world would be, what this planet would be if we really did have world peace? And we all know, where does peace begin? It begins in the heart. It begins with each individual. So if I'm warring with myself, I'm definitely not radiating positive energy out into the world. And if I'm not at peace, how can I expect other people to be at peace? How can I expect the planet to be at peace? Okay. So who else? I didn't want to cut anybody else off. What else would we do, be, have if we wanted to spark positivity and play God? Listen. Is that what you said? Listen more. Okay, beautiful. Who else? Laugh. Laugh more. So what's stopping us? Right? What's stopping us? Only our limited thinking. We are what we think about, right? We become what we think about. And we teach here in New Thought, everything begins in mind. Everything that we have in front of us first was a thought. The chairs you're sitting on, right? This beautiful sanctuary. It had to start with an idea. So everything that exists started in mind. So whatever we set our mind to, we can accomplish. Right? We have to believe that. So if we want world peace, international peace, and I know most people do, I'd like to think everybody does, but I do believe that most people do want that. It's having to then go back to that belief that we are all one. It does not matter. I mean, I was raised in Judaism. My husband was raised in Christianity, and we raised our children in New Thought. So it's all one thing. It's all one thing, right? It is that oneness, that connection. And when we really believe there's no distance between us, there's no difference between us, right? Whether it's blue hair, which I love, or gray hair, right? The changes that happen every day, right? Something to appreciate, to have gratitude about, right? Instead of complaining, oh no, one more gray hair or one more wrinkle. It's like, no, celebrate that you're alive. Celebrate that, you know, the hair color, you can go to CVS and buy hair color if you want and color your hair. Right? So we get to live the life that we want to live. That's another thing to celebrate. Everything is at choice. We are always at choice. And so we get to decide how we want to live our lives and how we want to celebrate. So I want to finish with a quote from Osho, an Indian guru. And this is a little bit of a long one, but he said, be the celebrators. Celebrate. Already there is too much. The flowers have bloomed. The birds are singing. The sun is out there in the sky. Celebrate it. You are breathing and you are alive and you have consciousness. Celebrate. Yes, so celebrate today being God. Celebrate today is Static Electricity Day. Celebrate that it's Supper Day, that it's Balloon Ascension Day, that it's Kate Middleton's birthday, maybe it's your birthday. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Celebrate the wins, celebrate the losses, celebrate being alive. Celebrate the divine creative expression of who you are, and go out into the world and smile bright, spark your positivity, and let's all together. And so with that, I want to take that into our meditation. Let's know that we are that divine spark of creative energy. So we take a nice deep breath in. Close your eyes if you like. And let us know that we can never be separated from who we are, because God only speaks to us, through us, as us. And there is only one thing at all times, and that is divine creative energy, universe, God, spirit, whatever name you call it, it is the same thing. And I know that there is nothing that I cannot accomplish, be, do, or have when I play who I am. When I use my divine creative energy. When I express my God qualities of kindness, of love, of abundance, of appreciation, of gratitude. And I spark that out in the world. It radiates. And it comes back to me, multiplied abundantly. And I know that each and every person is in the right place at the right time to do what they were brought here to do. And that is just to celebrate being alive, expressing who you are with gratitude and thanksgiving. And so with that truth, with that knowing, with love, I release my word, knowing that it's already done. And together we can all say, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you.
I can't really explain it. I haven't got the words. It's a feeling that you can't control. I suppose it's like forgetting, losing who you are. And at the same time, something makes you whole. It's like that there's a music playing in your ear, and I'm listening, and I'm listening, and then I disappear, and then I feel a change, like a fire deep inside, something bursting me wide open, impossible to hide, and suddenly I'm flying like a bird, like electricity, electricity sparks inside of me, and I'm free, I'm free. It's a bit like being angry, it's a bit like being scared, confused and all mixed up, or mad as hell. It's like when you've been crying and you're empty, but you're full. I don't know what it is, it's hard to tell. It's like the best music playing in your ear, but the music is impossible to hear, and then I feel it move me like a burning deep inside, something burst in me wide open, impossible to hide, and suddenly I'm flying like a bird, like electricity, electricity sparks inside of me, and I'm free, I'm free.
I really want to celebrate that amazing message by Reverend Ellen. And for those of you who know the words to come on in, there's that line, the door's unlocked and the lights are on. And the reason that is because of your generous donations, which we greatly appreciate. If you're here, there's a basket in the back, online, on our website, Venmo, or even mailing a check through the snail mail. There's lots of ways to donate, and we really appreciate you doing that. We haven't done the mudra in forever, and I don't even know if I remember it, but it's something like divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Okay, it's something like that. We'll work on it. Okay, thanks.
And suddenly I'm flying like a bird, like electricity, electricity sparks inside of me, and I'm free, I'm electricity sparks inside of me, and I'm